Hello and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Today it's going to be the third episode of the Scav to Red Rebel series, and it's a bit of a weird episode. We're starting off at 898,000 rubles, which is about 33% towards our goal. We need between 2.5 million and 3 million rubles to get the barter items for the Red Rebel pickaxe. Now this Scav spawned with a rather big backpack, so I'm heading to nighttime Shoreline because that's my favourite place to go. I know it's a bit difficult to see what I'm doing, but I've got a video that showcases this route, and it's got a map and everything, so if you need that, it's on my channel, it's not a problem. But I just like the caches. They seem to be a good solid money maker that not a lot of people go for, especially on a night raid. You can pretty much get them all to yourself, and you know, it can range from fantastic money to just average money, and it's just where Tarkov's concerned, it's kind of peaceful, you know what I mean? Like, not every raid, especially for me, has to be high tense firefights and on the edge of my seat at all times. I think it comes back down to that thing where Tarkov is a mashup of two different types of games, which is FPS, which is high stress, high involvement, and RPG. And most RPGs are about slow and steady progression, and you know, no matter how good or bad you do, you're moving forward towards an end goal with an RPG, whereas in FPS you want to be doing as well as possible at all times. So I think it's a weird dichotomy. Sometimes when I'm playing Tarkov, I just want to, you know, calm down, do a couple of scav raids, get a bit of money and progress my account a little bit. So with this one I've spawned if you're looking at Shoreline as a map, and the north is, you know, you've got your resort in the middle, and the north is the lake and the rock passage area. Well, the little river, it's not a lake. But if that's the area, I spawned on the right side, and I'm just following the trail of caches down the bottom. Currently I'm going for the cache that's under the bridge right next to the power station, which is... It's one that doesn't really get hit very often. I've trained... what's it? Not strength. I had to train with a friend of mine. It was basically, he needed the vitality skill up, so I was just beating on his legs with a crowbar, and we sat there for about 20-30 minutes just beating on each other's legs and healing, and it was kind of like no one bothered with, you know what I mean? We didn't even realise we were sat on a cache. We turned around and it was like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done it here. But it's just not a very frequent, like, nobody really goes there, so it's a good place to go and take a minute if you need, you know what I mean, if something's going on and you need a minute to yourself on the game. Yeah, but at this point it's been a pretty quiet raid, and I'm thinking, you know what, I may as well go and check on the Lighthouse. I thought that was a player scav there for a moment. The new scav AI is very difficult to tell if they're player scavs or not. But I hit the cache and then I head up to the Lighthouse. You could, I don't in this raid, but you could, if you wanted to, hit the computers and the safes and the filing cabinets. It's good money, but the amount of times I've been killed whilst looting that filing cabinet by another player scav is just too high. You know, it's not a case of it's happened once, it's a case of every time I've went and done it, it's bad enough that I have like PTSD walking past that building. I'm like, nope, not going in there, just ignore it. I go down here because the Lighthouse has a decent key spawn at the top on the crate, and the green crate in front of it spawns quite good weapon attachments. I get plenty of the N40 M4 silencers. But yeah, it's difficult to try and get this key if you've got the Lighthouse as an extract, so I don't go for it, because chances are if I'm going to commit to that, I do end up extracting anyway, and the key doesn't spawn there that often. I just wanted to get some more money. I know I could go straight down the beach, hit more caches, and get the get the Scav Island and whatnot. And you know what I mean? I don't have a second weapon, so I'm not really full of loot. I've got a backpack full of stuff, but it's all, yeah, on the back of that car as well. That spawns a key. You know, I'm hoping by this point I find a body of a scav someone's killed but haven't took the weapon, because another weapon slot that adds 20 to 30,000 rubles. If you get a pistol, that's another 10k rubles. It's all about using the empty slots on your scav to get as much money out of the raid as possible. But so far the raid's been, it's been quiet. There's been no gunshots, there's been no fights. I've just hit the caches, and I'm not making too bad money, but you know, there's no real good drops. There's nothing I'm massively excited about. There's no Founding Raid M995 ammo that's going to sell for a bajillion of rubles. It's just all mediocre stuff, really. It's kind of weird because Tarkov's in that situation now where it's weird things are worth a lot of money. Like the sugar, for example, is worth like 70,000 rubles for one slot item. It's nearly a Bitcoin in one, like just one sugar. At the start of the game, the sugar was worth nothing. You know, you could sell them for maybe 10, 14,000 if you were lucky. It's all because as more people, as I guess the wipes progressed, more people have got access to the moonshine barter, the moonshine production, and they need the sugar for it. I do like this island though. I think it's a good island. I wish there was another way off the island. You know, maybe it's a more open little land bridge, because it's a big risk to loot this island, and it's not exactly worth the reward. But right here, that was worth it there. That's nearly 70,000, 90,000 rubles if you sell it in the right time, in the thermometer and the cyclone battery. So I love those big crates, and nobody loots them. Nobody loots them big toolboxes, and they're just like giant toolboxes. And I loot the medical bags for that rare chance you're going to get an ophthalmoscope or maybe a LEDX. I've never received a LEDX in one of those bags, but I think it's like a massively slim chance, like almost more rare than finding a Bitcoin in a jacket, which is also possible. I've seen that happen. But that's about it for this raid. I'm just heading straight to the extract now. I've got quite a bit of loot. It's a fair amount. It's enough that I'm not willing to risk going into the village just up. I end up coming out with 464,000 rubles on this scav. Not a massive amount of money, but it's good enough. The sugar I got sold for 69,000 rubles. Then the cyclone battery was worth 51,000 rubles. And then the thermometer I think I sold straight to therapist for 27,000 rubles. So it's not bad money. But it's just a case of you've got to make sure you've got a big bag if you want to get out with that kind of money. So I decided to move on to scav run number 5, I think. And I think, well, you know what I mean, I've got some armor, I've got a good helmet. The Vepa is in poor condition, but if I've got PS, I can at least take out class 2, class 3. So I go for reserve, and it takes me 8 minutes to find a game. It was a very long wait time. I don't know what was wrong with reserve, but it was like 8 minutes just sat there waiting for it to load up, and it was a pain. But reserve's fantastic money if you can get the right areas. If they're unlooted, you can come out with some ridiculous amount of money. And I'm not even talking about like the high places, like, you know what I mean, the computer room on this map in the 6-story building. I think it's 6-story. 3 or 4 stories. The one at the edge of the helicopter, that can be worth, you know, $1 mil to $2 mil on its own if you get the right amount of GPUs dropping there. But I'm just talking about loose weapon spawns. Loose weapon spawns can be fantastic money on this map. It's really good money. So I spawned next to heating pipe. Just grabbed this food because you never know when food's going to be handy. And there is a weapons crate on the left here in this little lumber thing. I always check this because it gives me some good stuff. But yeah, it's been a quiet raid. I didn't spawn with anything that I think I'll get out with. But I did get a Scav backpack, and then I got a butt stock, so I was like, oh, that's fantastic. I can actually use this Weber now. I checked the grenade box because, you know, one grenade can take out a squad of people no matter how geared they are. It's always worth having a grenade on you or finding. But unfortunately, I found that. I don't think they're worth a lot of money at the moment. I could be wrong. I think they're around 10 grand. I leave it anyway just because I forgot it was worth it, you know, any reasonable amount. I'm heading up these stairs and I spot some fuel in here and I think it's fantastic. But then I just start getting hit from behind and I just panic, smash every button, and I'm dead. I think what happened there is, I think because of how long it waited to get us into a game, it just started spawning a massive amount of player scavs, and one of them ended up spawning behind us. So I think I pushed into that building and he spawned next, like behind me or in the tower, or he went up the tower, and I just, you know, I didn't even have time to react really. So it was just a case of bad luck on that part, but it just goes to show that you can make the right decisions as a scav and still fail. You know, ended up coming with a grand total of 0 rubles for that run, as you would expect. but it ended up with a total of 1.3 million, which is closer to our goal, nearly 40%, which is fantastic. But that's going to be it for this video. Tarkov content's getting quite slow of late. There's not a lot of new stuff, even though the patch was just released. But I'm going to try and think of some good videos to make. I hope this video goes to show that no matter who you are, no matter how good you are at the game, Tarkov is unforgiving. It doesn't matter if you do everything right, you can still die in Tarkov, and that's quite the whole point. A lot of surviving is luck. So just make sure if you're losing some raids that you're not happy with, just remember that it's all down to luck at the end of the day. Hope you've had a good day, and I'll see you next time.